What's going on, guys? Today I want to talk to you about URLs. There we go. In case you haven't noticed, I've recently updated my Mac and I'm having a little bit too much fun. Anyway, I want to talk to you guys about just the ways that I handle links, how they play into my daily life through my browser, and I want to kind of walk you guys through. I have kind of a hierarchy of the way I think about links and URLs, and I've got different tools to help facilitate that mental model, and I think this might help you guys. Even if your brain doesn't work like mine does, I'm going to expose you to a lot of tools, and hopefully you guys can kind of work out what works for you. So to begin with, most important thing, browser. I use Arc. It's not Chrome, it's not Bing, it's not any of that other stuff, and I love it. I will never... I mean, maybe I will, but I will never go back. Just this browser has changed my life, and it's so fun. So, sticking with the topic, part of what I love so much about Arc is it does a really good job of breaking down and organizing links. And here's what I mean by that. So, first, most important thing is they kind of have these contexts is kind of how I think of them. So, this is my personal space. This is a space for an SDK that I'm working on, claims. I've got all these different projects that I'm working on, but each one has its own space in the browser, and it gives me full reign to kind of control that workspace so it fits my needs, as opposed to the way I used to use Chrome. It just, everything was all in one big bucket. I actually tried Vivaldi, and that may be a fun one for you guys to check out, because they also allow the possibility to do that more contextual based interface. But I just find Arc's way of doing this is a lot more fun. So that's the first one. Second is they have these basically 3 layers of the way they handle links in any given space. This top area, these links actually don't go away. So they're shared across your spaces. Okay. You see how they stay up there. So for me, I've got Perplexity, ChatGPT. I've got some stuff for my newsletter, Raindrop, which I'll show you guys here in a second. And then my Reader app, which you can see in here. I'm going to do another video about Reader, so I'm going to keep this pretty brief. Reader's also amazing. But this is cool because I have access to these tools regardless of what I'm working on. The other cool thing about this is that these do not carry over from device to device. So I actually kind of like that, because on my personal machines, I can have global tools that fit more in line with my personal usage. Whereas on my work machine, I've got a bunch of very work specific apps and websites that I generally don't use on my personal machine anyway. So moving on, the next piece is you can actually see it more clearly when I do that. It's these links here. So basically, the way you can think about this is bookmarks in Chrome, right? So these are links that you save and you just want them to stay there and be static. I love this because there's a bunch of just a bunch of cool ways that you can play around with this. So one is you can actually set icons for these different things. So the stack, I just did a newsletter post recently about that for you guys. I could change the icon to be of pancakes to kind of help me just visually break this stuff up. The other cool thing you can do in here is, I'll go over to this project to show you. You can actually do folders. So you can kind of drop all that stuff in folders to organize them and close it off so you don't have to see everything all at once. And then next you'll see this is super fun that pops up. Some of the tools out there like Figma, Jira, Confluence, I'm rattling those off because those are the ones that we use at work all the time. They have integrations with them. So actually, when I hover over this or some of these other links, it will actually show me other recent files in that tool, or in the case of Figma, a plus button, so I can actually just create a whole another document. So that's just another little fun trick there. Yeah, I'm going to stop there because I could go on and on about the bookmarks. What I love about this is that they're here. I use these all the time, and it helps me just be really organized in what I'm doing. But I can actually close them all up, and they're kind of hidden and tucked away, which then leads me to this next section. So obviously today, holy cow, so many tabs. I have a coworker who has like 300 tabs open at any given moment. That's reality. Arc kind of helps you deal with that a little bit, because your spaces can help you break that up so that you're more working contextually. But that's just the way things work. We work day to day. Tabs can accumulate. So what I love about Arc is, one, I could just click here and it deletes them all. Some of you may be having a panic attack right now, so I'll put it back. But they actually have an automated feature for this too. So I actually have this set up so my tabs get cleared out every 12 hours. Again, I know that's probably freaking some people out, but I've actually found this really helpful because it forces me to be more organized and intentional about the way I'm handling tabs. So in my mind, I know these are going to go away in 12 hours. If I need them, I should consider putting them up here. Or, and I'll touch on this in a minute, dump it into my Raindrop account. I'll get back to that. Another feature that they actually just introduced, like, I don't know, like a week ago, is you can organize these. So if I click this little sweep button, it uses AI and it'll actually organize all of these tabs according to what they are. So poster lad, I was looking at a bunch of posters for my office. Those got all stacked in here. DDC, Aaron Draplin, he is the shit. Go look him up. I was looking at some of his stuff, and then there's just all this random crap. So it's kind of organized them all in here nice and neat, which is pretty great. I can create folders out of this stuff if I wanted to, and it puts it up in here for me. So that's pretty cool too. So if I'm getting overwhelmed with the amount of tabs I have, I can do that, but that's really just a stopgap because, again, you want these tabs to be deleted and kind of help you be more organized and more disciplined in your web browsing. Okay, so that's that. A couple other just little bells and whistles I wanted to show you guys is, one, they have a really great interface for split screen, so you can do all kinds of stuff with this: left, right, top, bottom. You see I've actually got my bookmarks set up that way. This is just like my workspace for when I'm doing newsletter stuff. So that's up here and it's there all the time. And so anytime I switch to that bookmark, it's already laid out in this workspace for me to make it really easy. What's another thing you can do? So we saw this created this folder. I can actually share this folder with other folks. So if I'm working on something and I've kind of gathered a whole bunch of links together for my team, I can click this share folder, and it'll give me a link to the folder, and then I'll show you guys what this looks like on their side. So it's this it's just this really pretty little interface. They don't even have to have Arc. They can just use this and click on any one of these links, or if they do have Arc, they click this add folder to Arc button and it actually pulls it into their interface, and then they think they can just get to it whenever they want to get to it. Okay, what's another really fun thing here? They've introduced a ton of really fun AI stuff. So let's do this one. I'm going to put this into my bookmarks, and you notice it just changed the name of the tab for me. So I love this because a lot of times you'll get some of these websites and they just have like so much crap in the name, and so they do a really good job of renaming the tabs for you. You can turn this feature on and off. It actually applies to a bunch of different places, your downloads even. I'm trying to think. Basically, these are my downloads, and I can set it up so it'll actually rename some of these. Actually, let's just try this. So we will save that to downloads, and you'll notice that it renamed it from bar.jpg to Draplin Merch, which is a much more helpful name than bar. So that's really fun too. Okay, let me get rid of some of this. Okay. So now let's look something else. So this is actually something I was doing earlier in the week, looking at different mirroring apps. Another fun thing that they've leveraged AI for here in Arc is if I hold down the Shift key and I hover over these links, it actually gives me a quick summary of the page. And so this is great when I'm doing a Google search, and Perplexity would be a better use case. Go watch my video or my article about that. But this is another way to tackle the same problem. I don't have to go into each individual page to see if it even has what I'm looking for in it. So I can leverage AI to do that for me. So you see a couple of different use cases for that is just pretty fun. And then I'll show you guys one more thing in Arc before I move on. So let's go back to that use case of the mirroring apps. Mac to PC to iPad mirroring apps. You'll notice there's a couple things in here. One, I can ask ChatGPT, so that's cool. They've got pretty deep integrations with ChatGPT, so it'll actually send that over to OpenAI, and I can pick this up, in the chat interface. Or they've got this thing called Instant Open. So if I hit Shift Return, search in the web for you, and actually goes through and does a search, and then it made this recommendation for me. So let's try it again. Let's just say mirroring apps. Searching the web for you. Just a little flower spinning there. So now it gave me several different recommendations. And then we'll try one more. How does it work? Instant Open, searching the web for you. So the use cases for this are endless, and it's so fun. So again, the idea is, instead of having to do normal search and dig down deep to see if a piece of content even exists on a page that I'm looking for, these are just some other fun ways to tackle this problem, and I love it. Yeah, that's a lot about Arc. So kind of going back to what I was talking about in the beginning with just the paradigm I have in my mind, you'll kind of see. So I've kind of broken up my life, as you've seen here, into work and personal, further subdividing into projects. I've got these very permanent links up at the top there. I've got but also pervasive across context. Then with the bookmarks, I'm kind of drilling down. So that's kind of how I think about links in the day-to-day. But there are a lot of times where I'm finding a link or a tool or an app or something, and it just doesn't make sense to come up in my day-to-day activities. So that's where Raindrop comes in. Raindrop is basically a bookmarking app. It is so much more than that, which I'll show you here. But this thing is amazing, and I have gone whole hog on this tool. And so you can kind of see over here on the left-hand side how I've organized, my things. This apps section, you can see all the categories of apps that I have. Clearly have a problem. Don't judge. But this is great because I can put these kind of links in here, and I know that they're saved, but I may not come back to these things for a year, 2 years. A really good example, accessibility. There was a point where I was doing some research into trying to find some tools and SDKs for a work project around accessibility. So I found a couple of really great tools, put them in here. This is probably not going to come up again until I work for another company where this topic comes up again and we have to choose a new vendor. So they're in here. So later, if I want to come back, I can do that. But they're not kind of cluttering up my workspace. Another big one is note-taking apps. I just have a ton of these. What is really cool about this, I actually used this just the other day, is I can actually share this list as a public link. This actually I used at work the other day. A coworker was asking, hey, what note-taking apps do you guys use? So I actually sent her the link to this folder, and I actually have little blurbs and notes and things. Some of these are just generated by the website itself. But what I'm starting to do is actually go in here and update the notes with my own thoughts, ideas, and feedback on this. I want to start leveraging this for you guys so that I can send you these links and you can kind of get my take on a whole bunch of different links to make a better decision for yourself. I'll show you what this looks like. So when I sent her that link, this is what it looked like for her. So she could bring it up and explore these different things. And if I had been better about making notes, there would have been some more context for her to go off of in here. So this is really fun. The other big thing I wanted to call out here is it really drove me nuts. Amazon made it more difficult recently to add third-party links to their wish list program on their site. My family, extended family, have used Amazon wish lists for ever to share our own wish list for like the kids and for each other and for my wife and I when we're getting gifts, or from extended family to get gifts at Christmas, all that kind of stuff. So I've actually started a whole category in here called wish list. So as stuff comes up that kind of catches my eye, I can dump it in this folder. It's out of the way. But then when it comes down to birthday or anniversary or Christmas or whatever, my wife has this. I can share the link with her, and she can get access to all that kind of stuff. So this is all just a ton of fun. You can go really deep on like organizing it and all that kind of stuff, that I won't go into for this video. I know the video is getting kind of long, but there's one more tool I want to show you guys, and that's Reader. Again, this is an amazing app. I'm probably going to do a whole video just about this. But this is another place that's more of like a repository holding ground for links. The difference in my mind between like Raindrop and Reader, Reader being a read it later app, honestly, I use it more as just kind of a history of the things that I've read, want to read, or just authors that I want to stay connected with in case they do have things. I go through phases where I'm more disciplined about actually reading this stuff than at other times, but this is just really, really powerful. I actually put all of my ebooks when I buy them on Kindle ebooks from Amazon. I have a workflow that I go through to convert those into EPUBs, and I dump them in here. And so this is pretty fun because it takes it in here, and I can read this book now on my phone, on the iPad, on my computer, and it's more performant than Kindle is, at least for me. And another kind of cool thing about this is, let's pull up an article. I'm gonna read this because it's gonna be really interesting. But if I'm in here, I can actually just highlight this whole paragraph, and they have a really powerful highlighting system. I'll stop myself there because I can tell I'm already like wanting to get into this. But books, articles, you can subscribe to RSS feeds, all of that kind of stuff gets dumped into here. And what I kind of am left with is like a history of all the things I've been learning and reading and interests. And parts are more organized, parts are more chaotic. It doesn't really matter though. I can just kind of dump stuff in here and come back later to play around with it. So one, I know that I'm not going to lose it, but also two, my Reader app is wild. It's crazy. I don't even use tagging very consistently just because I don't want to think about it. I just want to dump stuff in here and then come back later and just explore. Whereas Raindrop is very organized. I'm getting more organized with tags and descriptions and all that kind of stuff. So super fun. I'm going to stop now. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys. I know I've given you guys a whole bunch of different tools to explore. Read on in the article linked below, because I'll put a bunch of links and stuff in here so you guys can play around with the different tools, and definitely interested to hear what you guys think. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Yeah, all right. All right, guys. Anyway, bye.